The moment I saw him, I knew my life was about to take an unexpected turn. It was at a family gathering, the kind where everyone comes together to celebrate the usual milestones. But this time, something was different, something that would change everything. His name is Alex, and he's my brother's boyfriend. As soon as our eyes met, I felt a connection that I couldn't explain. It was as if the world around us faded into the background, leaving only the two of us. I tried to suppress my feelings, reminding myself that he was off limits. But sometimes, the heart refuses to listen to reason. We started spending more time together, unintentionally drawn to each other like magnets. We would steal glances when we thought no one was looking, exchange secret smiles that held a universe of emotions. It was a dangerous game we were playing, and I knew it. But the heart wants what it wants, and I found myself falling deeper into emotions I had never experienced before. Late night conversations turned into stolen moments, hidden away from prying eyes. We would meet in the quiet corners of the house, our hearts racing as we dared to explore this forbidden connection. Every touch, every stolen kiss felt like a secret we were sharing with the universe. As time went on, the guilt grew stronger. I knew that what we were doing was wrong, that it could hurt my brother and tear our family apart. But I also knew that I couldn't deny the feelings that had blossomed between us. It was a love that neither of us had asked for, but one that we couldn't deny. Our secret romance continued, a roller coaster of emotions that left me torn between my loyalty to my family and the overwhelming pull of my heart. The thrill of the forbidden only intensified our passion, making every stolen moment feel like an eternity of bliss. But secrets have a way of coming to light. And when our love affair was exposed, the fallout was cataclysmic. Hearts were broken, trust shattered, and the very foundation of our family was rocked. I had to confront the consequences of my actions, the pain I had caused, and the tangled web of emotions that had led me down this treacherous path. In the end, I learned that love is never as simple as it seems. It can be messy, complicated, and painful. It can lead you down paths you never intended to tread. And while my journey with my brother's boyfriend was filled with passion and intensity, it also taught me the importance of honesty, loyalty, and the fragility of the bonds that hold us together. So as I stand here, looking back on the whirlwind that was my forbidden romance, I can't help but wonder if it was worth it. The scars are still fresh, the wounds still healing, but one thing is certain: I'll never forget the love that opened my heart on the wrong path. The aftermath of our forbidden love was a storm that none of us were prepared to weather. The revelation shook the very foundation of our family, leaving us all grappling with the fallout of my actions. As the truth came to light, the pain and confusion were palpable. My brother, hurt and betrayed, struggled to come to terms with the fact that someone he trusted had betrayed him in the worst possible way. The look of disbelief in his eyes is an image I will never forget, a stark reminder of the damage my choices had caused. Our relationship, once strong and unbreakable, now hung in the balance. Our parents were caught in the crossfire, torn between their love for their sons and the anger they felt for the deception that had unfolded under their roof. Their hearts were heavy with disappointment, their once happy home now tainted by secrets and lies. Alex, too, bore the weight of the consequences. His relationship with my brother had crumbled, leaving behind a trail of heartache and confusion. He faced the anger and disappointment not only from my brother, but also from his own family, who struggled to understand how he could have been involved in such a situation. The days that followed were filled with tears, heated arguments, and uncomfortable silences. The wounds were raw, the emotions still too intense to navigate. The family dynamic had shifted, and it was evident that healing would take time, perhaps even longer than the time it took for the wounds to form. But amidst the pain, there was a glimmer of hope. As the initial shock began to subside, we found ourselves forced to confront the reality of our situation. It was a wake-up call that made us realize the importance of communication, empathy, and understanding. We couldn't change the past, but we could shape the future. I knew that I needed to take responsibility for my actions. I had to face my brother, apologize for the hurt I had caused, and work towards rebuilding the trust that had been shattered. It was a humbling experience, admitting my mistakes and attempting to make amends. But I was determined to show that I was committed to making things right. Slowly but surely, our family started to heal. It wasn't easy, and there were setbacks along the way. But the love that had once bound us together proved to be stronger than the mistakes that had torn us apart. Forgiveness was a difficult journey, but it was one that we all embarked on, each step, a testament to our resilience and the power of family bonds. As time passed, the wounds began to heal, leaving behind scars that would forever remind us of our past mistakes. The experience served as a painful reminder that actions have consequences, and that the choices we make can have far-reaching effects on the lives of those around us. Looking back, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions: regret for the pain I caused, gratitude for the chance to learn and grow, and a sense of humility that comes from knowing that even in our darkest moments, there is always a chance for redemption. Our journey through forbidden love and its aftermath was a tumultuous one, but it ultimately led us down a path of healing, forgiveness, and a newfound appreciation for the strength of family ties. The journey that led me to the precipice of forbidden love was a complex tapestry woven with a myriad of emotions and circumstances. It began innocently enough, with a chance encounter that set the wheels in motion for a series of events that would forever change the course of my life. It was at a family gathering, the kind where laughter and warmth filled the air. My brother had invited his boyfriend, Alex, to join us for the celebration. Alex was charming, his smile lighting up the room as he effortlessly navigated through conversations and laughter. He seemed like the perfect match for my brother, and I admired the connection they shared. As the day progressed, I found myself drawn to Alex's presence in a way that I couldn't fully comprehend. It wasn't just his looks or his magnetic personality. It was something deeper, something that seemed to resonate within my own heart. I brushed off those feelings at first, chalking them up to curiosity or admiration for the relationship he shared with my brother. But as the hours slipped by, I couldn't ignore the intensity of my emotions. It was as if a force beyond my control was pushing me towards him, urging me to explore this uncharted territory. I felt a mixture of guilt and excitement, a dangerous cocktail that left me torn between what was expected of me and what my heart desired. As the day came to an end and our guests began to depart, I found myself standing by the window, lost in thought. That's when I felt a presence beside me. It was Alex. The room seemed to shrink, leaving just the two of us. Our eyes locked in an unspoken understanding. Time stood still as the world outside faded away, leaving only the intensity of our connection. "Hey," he said softly, his voice breaking the silence. It was a simple greeting, but it held a world of meaning. It was an acknowledgement of the invisible thread that had woven itself between us throughout the day. "Hey," I replied, my heart racing as I met his gaze. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring us to this moment, and I couldn't deny the pull I felt towards him. We began to talk, the words flowing easily as if we had known each other for years. The conversation was casual, filled with laughter and shared anecdotes. But beneath the surface, there was an undeniable tension, an unspoken awareness that this connection was anything but ordinary. As the night grew darker, the rest of the world seemed to fade away, leaving just the two of us in a cocoon of shared secrets and unspoken desires. I knew that what I was feeling was wrong, that it could have far-reaching consequences. But in that moment, all rationality seemed to escape me. All that mattered was the electricity in the air, the palpable chemistry that hung between us like a magnetic force. And as the night drew to a close, I found myself standing at a crossroads. I could sense the danger that lay ahead, the potential for heartache and chaos. But I also couldn't deny the intensity of what I felt, a connection that defied reason and logic. Little did I know that this chance encounter would be the spark that ignited a forbidden romance, a journey fraught with challenges, heartbreak, and ultimately a lesson in the complexities of love and its consequences. The memory of that first meeting would forever be etched in my mind, a reminder of the moment when I unwittingly stepped onto a path that would forever alter the course of my life. In the days and weeks that followed our first meeting, my thoughts were consumed by Alex. It was as if he had become a constant presence in my mind, a persistent echo of emotions that refused to fade. I had never experienced anything like this before, a love so intense, so all-encompassing, that it left me grappling with a whirlwind of conflicting feelings. I had been in relationships before, felt attraction and affection for others, but this was different. This was a love that defied categorization, that defied the boundaries I had once believed were firm. It wasn't just physical attraction. It was a deep emotional connection that seemed to bypass all reason. I would catch myself replaying our conversations in my mind, reliving the stolen glances and shared smiles. Every word he had spoken, every laugh we had shared, etched themselves into my memory, creating a tapestry of emotions that I couldn't escape. It was as if he had unraveled a part of me that I hadn't known existed, a part that was now exposed and vulnerable. I began to question myself, my identity, my desires, and the choices I was making. It was a journey of self-discovery that was both exhilarating and terrifying. I found myself drawn to him not just physically, but emotionally. His thoughts, his dreams, his fears, they became entwined with my own, as if our souls were dancing to the same rhythm. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. I had never loved anyone as deeply as I loved Alex. It was a truth that simultaneously exhilarated and frightened me. I was torn between the exhilaration of a love that felt like it could transcend all boundaries and the fear of the consequences that could come crashing down. We continued to steal moments together, meeting in secret, our hearts racing as we explored this uncharted territory. Our conversations deepened, our connection intensified, and I found myself falling deeper into emotions I had never before dared to explore. The way he looked at me, the touch of his hand against mine, every gesture felt like a symphony of emotions that resonated within my very being. But even in the midst of this intoxicating love, I couldn't escape the weight of reality. I knew that what we were doing was dangerous, that it could shatter the lives of those we cared about most. I struggled with guilt, with the knowledge that I was betraying not just my family, but the trust of my brother, the one person who had always been there for me. And so, as I navigated the labyrinth of my emotions, I couldn't help but wonder, was this love worth the pain it could potentially cause? Could the intensity of our connection outweigh the consequences that loomed on the horizon? It was a question that haunted me, a constant battle between my heart and my conscience. As I stand at this crossroads, I am acutely aware of the gravity of my feelings. The love I share with Alex is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's passionate, all-consuming, and at times overwhelming. It's a love that challenges societal norms, that defies expectations, and that forces me to confront the depths of my own desires. But as the days continue to unfold, the weight of our choices becomes more pronounced. The love that has ignited within me is a fire that burns bright, but it's also a fire that has the potential to consume everything in its path. And as I grapple with the magnitude of my emotions, I can't help but wonder if I'm strong enough to navigate this uncharted territory, to face the consequences of a love that knows no boundaries. As the days turned into weeks and the weight of our secret romance grew heavier, a realization began to crystallize within me. The consequences of our love were more far-reaching than I had initially comprehended. The joy and intensity of our connection were undeniable, but so too were the potential casualties of our actions. My brother, the one who had stood by my side through thick and thin, deserved honesty and loyalty. The guilt that had been gnawing at me grew stronger with every passing day, a reminder that I was treading on treacherous ground. I couldn't ignore the fact that my actions were jeopardizing the relationship I cherished with him. The day came when I had to face the truth. I couldn't continue down this path. Our love was a flame that burned bright, but it was a flame that threatened to engulf everything around it. I had to make a choice, one that was excruciatingly painful but necessary for the sake of my family's well-being. We met in our secret place, the one where our stolen moments had unfolded in a flurry of emotions. Alex sensed the tension in the air, the unspoken words that hung between us like a heavy cloud. As I looked into his eyes, my heart ached with the weight of the decision I had to make. "We can't keep doing this," I said, my voice trembling as I fought to keep my emotions in check. "What we have, it's not just about us. It's affecting everyone around us, especially my brother." His expression mirrored my own conflict, a mixture of love, pain, and understanding. He nodded slowly, his eyes never leaving mine. We both knew that what I was saying was true, that our love was a double-edged sword that had the power to heal and destroy in equal measure. "I know," he replied, his voice a mere whisper. Tears welled up in my eyes as I struggled to find the right words. I never imagined I could feel this way about someone. But I can't keep hurting my brother, hurting my family. I have to put their, being above my own desires. Alex reached out, his hand gently brushing against mine. It was a touch that held a universe of emotions, love, understanding, and a silent acceptance of the painful truth. "I don't want to see you hurt, and I don't want to be the cause of pain for your family." And so, with heavy hearts and tear-streaked faces, we made the excruciating decision to end our love affair. It wasn't a decision made lightly. It was a choice born out of a deep understanding of the consequences of our actions. As we walked away from each other that day, it felt like we were leaving behind a part of ourselves, a part that had ignited a fire we couldn't control. The days that followed were filled with a mixture of grief, longing, and a newfound sense of purpose. I dedicated myself to repairing the relationship with my brother, to earning back his trust and proving that family would always come first. It was a journey that required humility, honesty, and a willingness to confront the mistakes I had made. As time passed, the wounds began to heal, and the ache of our parting grew less intense. The love I had shared with Alex remained a bittersweet memory, a reminder of a love that had been both beautiful and painful. But in the end, the sacrifice was worth it. I had chosen to prioritize my brother's well-being, to mend the bonds that had been strained, and to embrace the lessons that this forbidden love had taught me. And as I look back on this chapter of my life, I'm reminded that love is not always about following our hearts blindly. It's about making choices that prioritize the well-being of those we care about, even if it means saying goodbye to a love that once consumed us.